Hi Mark, it's me Michael here. I wanted to give you a quick video to show off a couple of the things you're going to be borrowing from me. First of which will be this bike. This bike is a custom-made titanium airborne frame. It's the Airborne Corsair. It weighs about 22 pounds. We made some modifications. As you can see, the main triangle is very small. I think you'll be okay with it. As you can see, I don't have a seat. Really hoping you have a seat. Try and let me know if you have a seat. I have some old junker seats that aren't that nice. Hopefully you can grade the seat from your road bike and use it. Otherwise you're going to be stuck with sort of a heavy padded seat from some older junk bikes that I have. So let me know. Alright, it's mostly decked out with XTR shifters and brakes. The crankset is an XT crankset. Pedals aren't mounted. Again, I'm expecting you to use your pedals. So please plan on bringing some pedals. It's a carbon fiber seat post, carbon fiber handlebar. Brakes are V brakes. They have a lot of stopping power. They're not as much as strong as the disc brakes that I'll be using on my bike, but they're considerably stronger than the calipers you'll be used to on your road bike. Okay? Carbon handlebar. The suspension is handled by a RockShox Duke SL. SL stands for super light. The spring mechanism is actually an air piston in here. And what we'll do when you get here is we can use my shock pump and set it up appropriately for you based on your weight. Here's a close-up of the tire. You can see it's a Continental Race King 2.0. That's a narrower tire for a mountain bike. Mountain bike tires tend to be 2.2, 2.3. It's got a low knob profile, and I think you'll do really, really well on the dirt roads with this tire. It's an extremely light tire. It's used on the pro circuit for racing. Racing is usually conducted on non-technical courses that tend to be pretty smooth, like a dirt road or very, very hard packed dirt. Again, the brakes are XTR brakes. They're very powerful. They will be quite a bit more powerful than what you're used to on your road bike, so shouldn't be an issue. This is the carbon fiber seat post. It too will help dampen road shock. You're really going to like this. I feel a difference. Most people do. XTR shifters. These are absolutely top of the line, state of the art, as good as it gets. Spared no expense when I built up this bike a while ago. So, an XTR front derailleur. The cassette is a 9-speed cassette, and then you have the advantage of a triple up front, so you'll have a 22 small granny gear, a 32, and then a 42 big chainring. With this setup, you'll actually be able to go a lot faster than I will on the bike I'm using. The bike I'm using only has one chain ring up front. But it's not a race. It's more about comfort. And I think you'll do just fine on this. Alright, hey Mark, I'm going to do the measurements you wanted now. I'm going to measure from the crank to the top of the seat tube. Center of the crank to the top of the seat tube is exactly 18 inches, 1.5 feet. 18 inches, 1.5 feet. Now, from the top tube to the stem, yeah, 1 foot, 11 inches, so 23 inches. 1 foot, 11 inches. Seat top of the seat tube, center of the stem. You'll notice that I have a lot of spacers on the stem. We can raise and lower the stem as you need. What we would do is we would take the top cap off and then reposition the ones on the bottom to the top. That would lower the stem. The other thing that's common to do is to take the stem off and invert it to give it a rise that's negative. And that makes the bike shorter and more aggressive to handling, but it might work out well for you too if you have issues with reach. And of course, you'll be able to raise and lower the seat post to a position that suits you. Shifting is indexed trigger shifters. It shifts exceptionally crisply, very, very crisp. One pull of the trigger shifts the bike 1 gear. You can see it's click shifting. It's dialed in quite nicely. Look at the shifters on the front. This is what they look like. It does feel like a trigger on a gun. You just pull it. You can hear how crisp it sounds. Pull it. Crisp. There's 2 triggers. You use both triggers, one shifts up, one shifts down. Alright Mark, this is the pack I'm going to loan you if you want. It's called the Camelback Trans L. This is it. It's about 10 years old. I got it when we were still in Michigan. I bought it at REI. I paid $140 for it. I don't think they make it anymore, but it still gets excellent reviews online, so it's a highly regarded pack. It's designed for cycling, so that's one plus. On the downside, it's listed as only having 1,700 square inches of capacity, and it's a bit small relative to the pack that I'm carrying. Okay? 1,700 square inches, and I don't know if that includes the water bladder or not. So I'll start at the back though and walk you through this. It's got a 3-liter bladder that you fill with water, carry on your back, and when you're thirsty, you suck it through a straw that comes over your shoulder. It's got a bite valve on it. You bite the valve, you suck, and the water comes out. I know these are kind of gross to share, so what I'll do is I'll wash this with a little bit of bleach and try and disinfect it as best I can, so we don't get the heebie-jeebies using it. If you don't want to use it, I totally understand. It's a bit gross. The back of the pack has this airflow material that's supposed to keep you cool, the air flowing through these, I don't know what you call this, sort of insulated region. I don't think it works for crap. I always sweat on my back when I use this. It's got two straps that go over your shoulder that are adjustable. Down here, pull cords, you can tighten them or loosen them on the fly, on the bike without even getting off. If you want, there's a chest strap that you can attach across the chest that'll help keep things a little bit snug, if you like that. Around to the front of the pack, there's an exterior pocket on the front. It's kind of small. You might be able to get a cell phone and some keys in here. It's exposed to the elements, so whatever you put in here has to be able to get wet if it rains. Yeah, right behind that there's a compression pocket. Some wet netting. You can put clothing or whatever in here. It's external to the inside of the pack. It will be exposed to the elements. Again, whatever goes in here has to be in a Ziploc or has to be something that can get wet. There are 2 main pockets, front to back. The front one is a little bit smaller. It doesn't run at the whole depth of the pack. It only goes 2/3 down. It's nice because it has some pockets on the inside that'll hold things from rattling around. Put tools, utensils, whatever you want to put in here, and the main pocket can hold clothing or whatever you want. Then the much larger main pocket is here in the back. It runs the whole depth of the pack all the way to the bottom. You can see in there. There's a front and a back to it, separated by a piece of nylon that you can cinch up. It's pretty deep. On the sides, it's got these compression straps too that you can tighten and loosen to let this region expand or contract however you want. Zip this up. The bottom of the pack has a rain cover that you can pull out, put over the pack if it's raining to protect whatever you might have. You get the idea. I've never used it, never. And I've used this to commute for years. The material itself, this nylon or Dura, is fairly waterproof. So unless you fall in a creek or it's absolutely heinously pouring, there's no point to this. It takes up a bit of the space. Actually, if you wanted to cut it out, I've never had the balls to cut it out, but you could go ahead and cut it out and I wouldn't miss it. And then you'd have a little pocket at the bottom to put something in. Maybe a flashlight or some matches or something like that. I'll put the pack on. You can see what it looks like on. Here we go. So, here's the chest strap if you want to use it. The straw comes over, shoulder. You can set it on either shoulder if you want. It actually has a loop to come through to hold it in place once you decide which shoulder. Sipping is just a matter of putting this in your mouth, biting on it, and you can see the water comes out when you bite on it. These straps raise and lower. They're fantastic. You don't have to get off the bike or take the pack off to change it. You can do it on the fly. again, this was cycling specific, so it doesn't sit high on your back, it actually sits in your mid-back. It keeps things away from your neck. Tighten it or lower it, however you want. Okay. Now, 1,700 cubic inches, or whatever this is, might be a bit small, so keep that in mind. If you want, I can put this in a box and mail it to you for $5 or $6, and you can start practicing with it to find out if all your stuff will fit in it. Compared to the bag that I'm going to carry, it's very small, and it's actually a little bit more heavy than the bag I'm using. It's about 10 years old. Newer bags are designed lighter and larger. This is the bag I'm using. This is the bag I can loan you. You can see, quite a bit different. The newer bag has a better ventilation system in the back. Keep you from sweating, keeping the weight from sitting directly on your skin. This wasn't actually a cycling specific backpack, it's just a hiking backpack. So it's got a waist strap, but for cycling I just use this waist strap very, very loose. But the nice thing about the waist strap is it has a pocket in the front. So I don't have to, I can put my camera in here, and as we're cycling I can actually take the camera out without even having to get off the bike or take the bag off. Take pictures and then put the camera back in the bag. Lots of tabs, lots of places for pulls, lots of access points, a very deep main pocket. When I did my shakeout overnight ride, this bag was only about half full, and I cinched it all down with the compression straps to make it tight on my back, but I only used about half capacity. It wasn't a problem. The bag wasn't completely full. This rested down like this, and then it didn't bump over the back of my head. But you might want to consider something like this. You can get something like this through Eastern Mountain Sports, or REI, or Amazon, whatever your choice is. I've seen them for, not this exact model, but I've seen modern frame backpacks for $40–50 on Amazon. I paid $89 for this one myself through Eastern Mountain. REI has them. You can go in the store and try them on, see what you like. Alright, I'm going to weigh this backpack for you, give you an idea of how much it weighs. So hopefully you can see that it comes in at about 1,300 grams, so 1.3 kilograms. It's fairly heavy. If I change this to pounds, it's right around 3 pounds, 2 pounds 15 ounces, 2 pounds 14 ounces. So it's kind of a heavy pack. So my pack, which is what, probably 2 to 3 times the capacity, comes in at 3 pounds 1 ounce. So it's just the slightest bit heavier, but it's quite a bit more capacity. This is one of the frame bags I got for you. I got it on Amazon. It's $11, I don't know, really small, or really cheap. Fairly decent capacity. You can easily get a pair of shoes and some clothes in here. Maybe if you buy an ultralight tent, it'll go in here. Or maybe if you just sleep with a blanket, you can get your blanket in here. My advice though would be to put the heaviest things you've got in your pack actually on the frame of the bike and off of your back. Okay? And having things on this frame bag will keep your center of gravity lower, which will help maneuverability, speed, acceleration, everything else. Right? So heavier things on the frame. Alright, I'm going to show you what, I'm going to put this on real quick and then show you what it looks like. Ta-da! It's mounted on the bike. The zipper's on the other side. There are 2 pockets. A thin one on the outside, maybe for a map, something thin, and then the main compartment. One of the unknowns about this is that it does clamp around the top tube. I've got it somewhat loosely velcroed on. I don't know if that'll interfere with the shifter cables or not. As I've got it mounted right now, it doesn't. We'll have to reassess once you put something in there. But I don't think it's going to be a problem. Come around here, you can see the other side. For a saddlebag, I can loan you this. It's from REI. It's just a regular old saddlebag. Except it's a bit larger than most that I had seen. That's why I bought it from REI. What's nice about this one is it's got this expansion zipper. Zipping this, it adds about 1/3 of volume again. So you can see it's quite a nice size. You're welcome to use this. Save some money. Probably just right. Goes on the back, under the saddle. Just like that. Sleep system. So I checked the average temperature at Baxter. When we're going to be there, it's about the warmest time of the year, but nighttime temperatures can still dip into the 50s. They've even been known to have snowstorms up there. So, kind of wanted to prepare your Boy Scout. I have this to loan to you. You're going to make a judgment call on whether you want to use it. I'm a bit concerned. I actually bought a sleeping bag that was rated a little bit lower. I'm worried about this. It's 2 components. They're both really light. This thing weighs 8 ounces. This thing's got to be less than a pound. We'll go one by one. This is just a fleece blanket I got from Dick's Sporting Goods for $9. It's fantastic. Alright? Rolls up. It's really small. It's got a little bag to go with it. It's got straps to go around the outside. It's got a zipper. It's basically a sleeping bag made out of fleece. It's very light. It's very nice. It's perfect for around here where the nighttime temperatures in the summer don't drop below about 7. Dick's Sporting Goods fleece. As a backup, because I was worried, this is called the Soul Emergency Bivy. It's basically a space blanket, but it's a much nicer space blanket than what you're used to. You can see it's quite a bit thicker and larger. I'm not going to actually open it out, but the real advantage on this is on the inside it's actually got sort of a cottony film, and the material itself has some thickness to it, so it's not just wrapping yourself in aluminum. It's actually really nice. It makes a whole little cocoon. You slip right inside and keep you warm. Now I was thinking if it got really cold, what I would do is I would put the fleece inside of this, and that should keep you warm. You're welcome to borrow this, assuming my sleeping bag comes, but I'm sure it'll come. You can see it's really, the 2 pieces together, really small, very light. I don't think the 2 pieces together weigh 2 pounds. So you're welcome to use this, okay? Or you can buy a bag on Amazon.com. There are some 3-pound bags that are rated to 30, 40 degrees that come with compression sacks that look pretty nice. 3 pounds, they were a bit heavy. That's what turned me off to them, and I thought this would be fine for around here. Going up to Baxter, I decided I spent some money and bought a 2-pound bag, 2-pound gallon bag. But check it out. 2 other things I wanted to show you. My cup. I got this at REI for $5, $6. I don't know. It's my cup. It's made out of that silicone rubbery stuff. It's really light. Holds hot stuff. Holds cold. Drink it. It's a measuring cup too. It's got radiations inside. It folds up really small. I actually put this in my front bag right on my handlebar so I can pull it out. And then this is the stove. I just wanted you to see it. It's really small. It's really, really small. Works great when I went out just by myself. Don't know how it'll work for the 2 of us, but I'm fairly confident it'll be okay. This is the burner. This is it. There's nothing to it. I'm going to snag some ethanol from work. That's what it uses to burn on, but there's really nothing to this thing. It's got a simmer thing to adjust the temperature. So if we ever wanted to simmer or cook slow, we just put this on top and open and close it. It comes with a windscreen. Looks great. Fry the pancakes in here, on top of it. Boil water for freeze-dried meals in here. I think this holds about 2 cups. Like I said in the email, the freeze-dried meals, I ate a whole one myself in like 5 minutes. They were just right down to half. So I think we'll do 2, well, like 1 for you, 1 for me. We'll each have 1 and down it. But we'll have to cook in shifts then, right? We'll cook and eat, and cook and eat. But this is what it looks like. Or you can buy one of these. I mean, these things are so light, there's nothing to them. So if you felt like buying one, get them for 15, 16, 17 bucks on Amazon.com. It's called the Trangia stove. I think it's Swiss or from Sweden. I don't know. Go to Amazon, do Trangia, find these. Alright. Stay Two other things I wanted to show you real quick. For tarps, canopies, rainfly, general purpose, poncho even. You can go to Home Depot, go to the paint section. They have this plastic drop cloth roll. This stuff is 9 foot by 2 foot, so 9 by 12. Pretty large, 108 square feet for like $149 or whatever it is. And it's not very heavy either. It weighs about a pound. Cut it down to whatever you want. I cut a much smaller piece to put under my tent and use as a ground cloth. Believe it or not, YouTube this, there are people who use this as their entire shelter. String a line between two trees, drape this over and stake it out on both sides, and you've got basically a pump tent that weighs, and if you only use half the material, you're going to have an 8-ounce pump tent. The other thing I wanted to show you, remember I was saying I had a lot of room in my bag. I went to Walmart and I got a camp pillow because I really wanted to sleep on a pillow. So this was $7 at Walmart. It packs up kind of small in this little cinch bag. Because I had extra space and I wanted to sleep well. This went in the bag. Okay? I don't know if that's important to you or not. And I haven't weighed it yet, so I don't have much of this, but certainly something I sacrificed for and wanted comfort. I was willing to carry the bulk. $7 Walmart. $1.50 Home Depot.